Well.
I sent Dad a quote this morning, so I have it fresh.
I taught him well. Yeah, we were. I tried to express.
Oh well, I'm cheating. I'm cheating. Look at it.
My good friend. I work.
Because I wanted her to get to see you.
We don't hang out unless it's our love time. You know, and that's our time.
Yeah, sometimes I know she does. You been doing okay?
Yeah.
You look so much like your grandma.
Hey, somebody got
Just like Jack. I can't believe, I never thought you, when you were younger, I thought you was going to look like Jack, but you do. And that's the compliment, because he was my handsomest cousin. My mom used to say that. She would always say, you know, Bernice has those beautiful children. So I would say, well, what about us?
Yeah, but I know that's something that's so funny because Mama was
Hi,
telling me that
Randy.
too. She said that
How are you this morning?
she thought I was going to look more like my dad. And then,
It just turned out it did. But Jack was a good, sweet man, too.
if I had a handful of money, yeah, even though they were from, I was like,
Little bitty. When I was really little, he would hopefully with my dad, so he would eat lunch with us. My mom just, he was my favorite nephew.
so we went and ate at Connie's and Josh.
Oh, yes, I do.
He,
Hello.
good. Raising his family.
Yeah. So now I know he's got the little girl. So does he have another one?
I think so.
You just
I just saw
yeah.
the little girl.
Yeah. I was trying to remember. I didn't take
They have a bunch of dogs.
You know, I got 5. So. But mine are all rescues, and when Skylar and I moved back out to my dad's old place, you know, people just started throwing them out, and they were the kind that nobody was going to adopt, so we just kept them. And now they're all feeble like this.
He's pretty. You all bundled up.
Let's do this.
We, the members of the Governor Jared Irwin Chapter, National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, thank you for joining us today as we celebrate the mission to remember the fallen, honor those that serve and have served and their families, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. Please stand for the presentation of colors by the Washington County High School Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, and remain standing after them for the National Anthem by Jesselyn Alexander, the invocation by our chapter chaplain Marilyn Daniel, and the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Boy Scout Scoutmaster Chuck Wright and the Boy Scouts of Troop 74.
Both colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this glorious day you have given us to come together as a family and friends, to honor in memory and give thanks to those who died we might live in peace. We ask that you help us make every word and every action today glorify you and honor every veteran laid to rest in this cemetery and all other cemeteries, as well as those veterans that are still living. Each of them, as we remember them by name, have given part of all of their life in service to our country, which is still one nation under God. We thank you for each of them and pray that their service will never be forgotten. In your Son's precious name we pray. Amen.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Good morning, everyone. I am Karen May Scott, and I am honored this morning to be able to introduce to you our speakers for today. This year, across the country at more than 3,400 participating locations, millions of Americans are coming together to remember, honor, and teach. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying in the old city cemetery and cemeteries across our country are men and women who gave their lives so we can live in freedom. Today, those gathered represent a united front of gratitude and respect for our veterans. At this time, I'm going to introduce our guest speakers. Our first speaker this morning is Brad May. Brad served from 1999 to 2006 in the United States Army as a wheeled vehicle mechanic and combat engineer. Following Brad this morning will be E.K. May, who will speak on his time in the United States Army 196th Light Infantry Brigade, where he was a member of the United States Mortuary as an identification specialist and embalmer. On behalf of everyone here today, we thank you for your service, and we are honored to have you both join us. Let's welcome Brad to the podium.
First of all, I want to thank you. Am I on?
No.
No? Well, push a button. On now. First of all, I want to thank the DAR for taking this responsibility up and being able to honor all of the veterans who have fallen and who we lost over time. The first thing, I didn't really know the layout, or I didn't have the little program this morning until I walked through the gates, and then I saw that E.K. was after me. I was like, he's got to speak after me. That's funny. He ain't going to be able to do it. He ain't going to be able to do it. And then I heard Jesselyn, and I was like, I've got to talk after that. I was like, that was amazing. There's nothing I could do. Well, E.K., we're both in a bad spot because of that beautiful scene. Thank you. I never know what I want to say first, but thanking the DAR for an opportunity to focus on something I don't think about on a daily basis. Having an honor to speak like this, it brings those thoughts and those memories back. Some good, some bad. But I texted 2 people this morning and told them that I was coming here to speak. And I was real grateful that I wasn't standing over top of one of our graves doing it. Because they were 2 of the guys that I served with in Iraq. with that said, I just made a couple of notes on how to honor a vet. Whether it be one that has passed or one that hasn't passed, one that's struggling. Spend some time understanding them. Read about how they're made. Unique military phrases. I thought of a few on the way down. Whenever you talk to an Army Ranger, sometimes they might say something like, embrace the suck. What that means is sometimes life just sucks, and you keep moving anyway. Watch my 6 or I've got your 6. Rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. I don't know how many times that was said whenever I was in Iraq in 2005. And also, one of our historic figures in Sandersville, our military way wouldn't be the same without cadence, without Mr. Beckler. That galvanized, I still to this day, I haven't been in the military since 2006. And there's one that I will not say here because it is not appropriate, but I have not forgotten. Internalize their commitment. Every vet signed over everything they had to include their last breath in defense of this country. Take a moment, and if you would, close your eyes for me. When was the first time you confronted the real possibility of your death? Some of us may not have. We may not have thought about it yet. The first time I did that, you can open your eyes. The first time I did that was when I was 25 years old. I was given the task of going from Kuwait to Iraq early before the rest of my unit, because they're going to teach me how to use drones and some other classified equipment. And so I got to ride with the unit that was before us. Not 7 days into that mission, a bomb went off about 75 feet from me. And the lessons they taught me is what is the reason I'm here right now. Because if I wouldn't have acted a little differently because of what they said, because they were watching my 6, I wouldn't be. I had a few things that I had sent myself earlier. I sent them to Dad, and I got to find my phone. I texted him. There you go. And a lot of times people ask me, I used a fairly unique name in my practice because I had learned it from the military. A lot of people ask me, what is ethos? What does that mean? An ethos, the characteristic spirit of a culture, era, or community as manifested in its beliefs and aspirations. That is an ethos. And that is what everyone who serves in the military carries with them, whether they are serving actively or whether they are retired, moved on, or in this graveyard right now. And I'd like to finish up so that E.K. can have an opportunity to speak with a quote. There was a movie called Act of Valor. And at the end, I was knocked on the dirt with this quote, and I hope that it touches all of you as well, by Chief Atumka or something like that. So, live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about their religion. Respect others and their views, and demand that they respect yours. Love your life. Perfect your life. Beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. Prepare a noble death song for the day when you go over the great divide. Always give a word or a sign of salute when meeting a passing a friend, even a stranger when in a lonely place. Show respect to all people and grovel to none. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies only in yourself. Abuse no one and no thing, for abuse turns the wise ones to fools and robs the spirit of vision. When it comes your time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home. What we're celebrating is all of those who've had the opportunity to go home. Don't be sad for them. They served their purpose and they served their people. And there's very few things that you can do with greater honor. Okay?
I was called into the Army in 1968. I just finished getting my field director's license, my volunteer license. And I was in Sand Hill for basic training. Went to Anniston, Alabama for AIT. They trained us in the cold and the snow to go to Vietnam. I never understood that. Anyway, I went into Vietnam at Cameron Base, and I was assigned to the mortuary at Constantinople. The mortuary at Constantinople was the headquarters of all mortuary functions in Vietnam. We handled all the Army, Air Force, and Navy, Australians, Koreans, New Zealanders, Thailanders, all of those came through our mortuary. One of the ones that didn't were the ones that went to Da Nang, and that was the mortuary for the Marines. It was one of the only places that if you couldn't stand being there, they'd send you somewhere else. It was a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation. We had a personal property depot. When anyone was killed in action, the personal property they had in the company was sent to us to be gleaned of all the contraband and weapons and drugs and everything else that they didn't want to send back home to your parents or your wife or whatever. And then at the mortuary, we had enough room, cold space, as big as the inside of the CVS pharmacy. We had probably between 150 and 300 all the time. We were shipping probably around 85 to 100 a day. Now, we had to be sure they were identified first. And Viet Cong, they were slick. They would change uniforms on the deceased person. They would put this shirt on that person, change the shirt frame. We had to check and be sure that we had it all down pat. I did fingerprints, long bone exams, dental charts, just a little bit of all of it. So now when I go to the dentist and they say MOD, I say mesial, occlusal, and distal. So how you know that? See quite a few. It was a heck of an operation. a lot of dedicated people. I remember people that came through, some deceased, that came through that mortuary, that were with me in basic training. A guy in particular, that name's always stuck with me, Alexander Mangelli from New York. W.O. Williams, who was my commanding officer in AIT. In Vietnam, a lot of times rank can make a difference. We worked at night. My shift was at night. It was from 11 to 7. But you went in at 10 o'clock and you got off at 8 o'clock. So you had a double shift so you could see where the other person leaves off. Major Williams was my commanding officer in AIT. He was a paratrooper. He had all kinds of medals. This is his third tour to Vietnam. And we were walking down the compound one day, and I saw him coming and met up with him. Major Williams, where you stay? Where's your bunk? Don't have one. When will you be transferred out? Not sure. Major Williams, we work at night, so you come to my village, and you can stay there in the daytime. I'll be there in the daytime. You can stay there at night. He was there for 3 days. About 2 weeks later, he came back. We met up again. And he stayed 3 or 4 days. He was a Vietnamese advisor. About 3 weeks after that, the mortuary opened the bag, and there he was. Thomas Jones, Lieutenant, got killed in Vietnam. I saw him go to the mortuary in Vietnam. I went to the wall in Washington, D.C. And I didn't realize how it was going to affect me. But to see some of those names on that wall that I remember, they gave it all. They gave their lives for this country. I thank you for letting me come and speak to you. Thank you.
I would love it if y'all would like to join me in singing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the valleys, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Nice to see the sun. I need some sunglasses now. But these will just have to do. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to all of the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we will not forget you. We will always remember. Today we reflect on and honor all of our nation's veterans
and active duty service members who have and continue to fight to protect our freedom. For this, we all say thank you. These wreaths that are to be laid today at the flag of each branch of service now symbolize our honor to those who have served and are serving our great nation, and to their families who endure sacrifices each day on their behalf. As a nation, we need to understand that the freedoms we enjoy today have not actually been free. They have come at a great cost to some. This is why Wreaths Across America chooses to remember the fallen, honor those that serve and their families, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. Now, Sergeant First Class Alexander Jordan, who served during Desert Storm, will lay a wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Army. We ask that all current members or veterans of the United States Army please stand or raise your hand. Third Class Petty Officer Adrian Parham, who served from 1961 to 1965 in the United States Navy, will lay a wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the Navy. Any current members or veterans of the United States Navy, please stand or raise your hand. Thank you. Technical Sergeant Serpecia Brown, who served 20 years of active duty in the Air Force, will lay a wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Air Force. We ask that current members or veterans of the Air Force stand or raise their hands. Thank you. Corporal Eli Diaz, who served in the Marine Corps from 2018 to 2022, will lay a wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the Marine Corps. We ask that all current members or veterans of the United States Marines stand or raise their hands. Sergeant Zach Lindsay, who is currently serving in the Georgia Army National Guard and has been since 2016, will lay a wreath at the Georgia flag in memory of those who served and are serving in the National Guard. We ask that all current members or veterans of the National Guard please stand and raise your hand. Thank you. Wanda Davis, mother of E4 EM3 John Davis, who served in the United States Coast Guard from 2011 through 2016, will lay a wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Coast Guard. We ask that any current members or veterans of the Coast Guard stand or raise your hand. Emmett Hall Jr. was a POW during World War II while serving in the United States Army. Emmett Hall III, his son, will lay a wreath in honor of over 93,000 United States servicemen and women from all branches of service whose last known status was either prisoner of war or missing in action. We shall not forget you. Thank you, veterans. Let's give them a hand. Today we also honor the veterans that are laid to rest here in the Sandersville Old City Cemetery. These veterans are listed in your program. Veterans were also honored by family members and friends with donations of wreaths in their memories or their honor. These names are listed on the memory page in your program. Please join me in a moment of silence for all these veterans listed in your program. Thank you. The Governor Jared Irwin Chapter, National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, thanks you for joining us here today for this very special program. And it is now time for our wreath laying ceremony. For those who wish to lay wreaths today, we ask that you remain seated until the wreath bearers, Boy Scout Troop 74, stand. Each one of these young men will go to a designated area for the laying of wreaths at graves marked with flags. We ask that as you place a wreath on a veteran's grave today, to say that veteran's name aloud and take a moment to thank them for their service to our country. It is a small act that goes a long way toward keeping the memory of our veterans alive. Also, if you would please note on the back of your program the proper placement, I'll get it right, of wreaths And we also ask if maybe you would fluff them up just a little bit because they've been packed pretty tightly in those boxes all the way from Maine when they got here yesterday. So now, if you wish to stay and lay wreaths, we invite you to. We hope you will. And if you will follow these Boy Scouts, and we just thank you again for coming. Sherry.
I just love it.